Hi everyone, it's Georgie here and I'm just up in our mammal house, and behind me we have our northern tree shrews. Now you'll remember that we do have a pair of these. We've got our male Michael Shrewmacker first, we got him from Tropical Area Zoo, and then we went to pick up our female and her name is Shrew Barrymore, and we introduced her to him a little while ago now. So very recently we have seen some nesting behaviour, and this has been happening up in the hanging basket that we have in the enclosure there. You will notice that we do also have 2 other nest boxes in there as well. And this is because the tree shrews don't quite do things the same as other animals do. So they do pair monogamously. This means they do pair for life, so just one male to one female. But unlike other animals who would live together in that situation, the tree shrews actually normally wouldn't. It's like they get married but then live side by side next door to each other in 2 separate houses. They would live in territories, what we call parallel territories. And the mother does actually something similar with the babies, so that the adults, they have their main nest where they stay, but once that female has babies, she puts them in a separate nursery nest box or little nest. So that's why we've got these 3 separate nesting areas for the tree shrews in our enclosure. So what we expect to happen is, if she has any babies, she'll put them in 2 of the other separate areas that we have in here for them. So it's very, very interesting to see an animal that works in a very, very different way to lots of the other species out there. So for the most part, we have seen them actually getting on very, very well. But when we first put them together initially, when we put the female in with the male, we found that they weren't getting along straight away. So we actually had another tree shrew enclosure that we put the male in just to give him a little bit of time out, a little bit of time to cool off. And then we tried it again. We moved him back into the enclosure with her, and that swap of moving him to her rather than her to him seemed to solve all of the issues. You will notice we do have that other tree shrew enclosure still up and running, so we decided we're going to save this for any babies that they have. Once they are weaned, it means they can go into that new enclosure away from the parents. So it's important that we have those 2 big tree shrew enclosures when we have those babies ready to move away from them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see some baby tree shrews very, very soon. So as I say, they will be in the different nest box area to the parents, so we've got to keep an eye on where she's going to put them. These guys are pregnant for roughly 40 to 50 days, so any time now we could expect them, and those babies, she can have 1 to 5 at a time, and they will be weaned from her at around 40 days old. So once they hit 40 days is when we'll be moving them to that separate enclosure. So fingers crossed for little pitter-patter of baby tree shrews in the mammal house. So if you have visited us, you may have noticed that the tree shrews aren't always out. And this is because, again, the way they do things is just a little bit different. So they aren't specifically nocturnal or diurnal. These guys are active for 24 hours. They're just every hour or so, they'll get up, have a bit of a feed, bit of a drink, bit of a wash of themselves, and then they go back to bed. And they do this constantly throughout the day and night. So it's just a little bit luck of the draw, really, when you're going to see them. So if you've not seen them on your first visit, do try again with these and see if they're out and about on your next one. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Exciting times up here in the mammal house for Michael Shrewmacker and Shrew Barrymore. All right, guys, thank you, and I'll see you again another time. Bye-bye.